Welcome back to Culinary Classroom. I'm Chef Carrie Leonard. Today we're going to work with a few different cooking methods, and we're going to start off with sauté. I've got my sauté pan that we talked about on the previous episode. It's got the nice sloped sides. This one's made of copper, so it really takes a good heat on the bottom. Takes a while to heat up, so you want to make sure that your pan is nice and hot. You want a good sauté? You start with a hot pan. If it's almost smoking, then it's about perfect. So it still is heating up pretty good here. I'm going to put a little bit of fat in the bottom. Now that could be butter, it could be olive oil. I'm going to put a little butter in here. All right, hear the sizzle? That's what we're looking for. All right, now I'm ready to put these in. I've salted and peppered them. My butter all over. Nice hot pan. Skin side down. And this is the sauté part. Keeping it moving. Keeping it moving. To sauté means to jump. That's what they're talking about in classical French, to jump. Now if I had something small in here like beans or peas or something, I could move them around, flipping like this. With something large like a chicken breast, I'm just going to keep it moving, making sure that it is moving at all times. A little bit of fat. That's a sauté. Now that we've got our sauté going, we're going to be looking at a couple of other methods. The big issue here is heat. What I've got going in my pan right now is what you call a rolling boil. There's a difference between a rolling boil, a simmer, and a poach, and I want to show you what those look like. A rolling boil is where I cannot dissipate the bubbles even if I stir. I stir, bubbles are not going away. That is a rolling boil. That is the enemy of protein. You do not want to boil protein. So I'm going to take this out and just show you that this just turns into a piece of leather over here. So let me turn down this heat and show you where we're going with this, all right? I'm going to turn my heat way down. See, it immediately calms down. Now I've got just a slight boil. Just a few places are breaking open with the bubbles. That means I'm really at about 212 now, which is actual boiling point. This would absolutely dissipate with a spoon. I can make it stop boiling for a second with my spoon, and that's about 212. If I want to cook a protein, then I want to get this even lower. I've got to be really delicate with the protein. You can boil the heck out of some things, but not others. So let me take this down even further to where we just see wisps of steam. All right. Now I want to get this to where there's no bubbles breaking the surface. Okay, now I've got no bubbles breaking the surface. You see quite a bit of steam coming off of this yet. So I am still simmering at this point, okay? And the simmer is great for soup, stews, things that I need to allow to just cook down a little bit on the back burner. I'm going to reduce a sauce, something like that. It's not boiling, but it's got a little heat going on there, and I got quite a bit of the wispy vapor up here. Now, in order to poach, now this is what I really want to do, is I want to poach my chicken. I want to make sure that it's super tender on the outside and done on the inside, and I'm going to use a poaching liquid to do that. Now this poaching liquid could be water, it could be stock, it could be wine. I could add flavorings to this, herbs and a variety of other things to get the flavors that I want, and it will delicately poach in this water. So now that I've got this temperature down even further, there's no breaking, and you can see the wispies are a lot less. They're really just circling in the pan. That tells me I'm getting down to the poaching temperature of about 180 degrees. Remember, boiling is 212, poaching is about 180. So I'm ready to take my delicate chicken breasts and put them in my flavorful liquid. By the way, that's called court bouillon if I'm working with a flavorful liquid. And I'm going to poach my chicken breasts here. And these guys are going to come out tender and beautiful in about 10 minutes. It doesn't take very long. I'm not burning anything. You just have to make sure that your temperature, when it does come back up, because right now I'm putting cold food in here, when your temperature comes back up, that it does not hit a boil. You make sure that we just have a little bit of wispies going on here. And you wait about 8 to 10 minutes and you're ready to take it out. I want to help you braise something. All right, so I want to feel my pan. I want to make sure that it's nice and hot again. I want to get a good sear on this. I'll put a little butter in there and it should just really sizzle. I want that nice hot sizzle. Sear this up. Careful. Yeah. I'm going to leave that alone for just a few minutes so that I can sear hard. I'm going to flip it over, sear it on the other side. Okay, now I want to check for his doneness. The sear on this other side, when the pan releases the meat, then you know that your sear is ready to go. Is it loose? Good, I'm ready to turn it over. If it's stuck, I'm not ready yet. All right, here we go. There we go, look at that nice sear. I'm going to let it sear on that side too before I do anything else. Alrighty, now that he is seared on the other side, I check him, make sure he's loose. I'm going to leave him in there, I just want to make sure he's loose. And now I'm ready to cover him with a liquid. Now this could be water, this could be stock. Stock makes a great court bouillon. Court bouillon means a flavorful liquid that you're going to be cooking your items in. So I'm going to go ahead and pour water in. I want it to be right about half, covering my meat just about half. I can add anything extra that I wanted to add, a little wine, a little flavoring if I wanted to. Don't add any vegetables or anything at this point, it's too early. They would turn to mush, because this little puppy's gonna cook for like 4 or 5 hours. You remember this? This is my bouquet garni. This is the item that had all of these great things in it to flavor our food, and I'm just gonna go ahead and tuck him down in there. All right, so we're gonna bring this to a simmer. And you know what a simmer means, and we're going to let this just sit. Make sure it's covered, and you're going to let it go for 4 or 5 hours, depending on the kind of meat that you're going to be using. But it cooks down, and the juices are so good. Okay. Okay. Alrighty, so this is ready. You want to bring it to a simmer. You know what a simmer is. Put a lid on it, and you're going to let it go. 4 or 5 hours. This is going to make the best tasting meat ever. All the juices, the gravy, the court bouillon, the bouquet garni. You're braising now. All right, so we've worked on some cooking methods. Next week, we're going to be working on some flavor balances. So your homework is twofold. I want you to braise something or saute something. Try it out. See if you can do it. And then also, go back to that pantry episode and make sure you have the things ready for that sweet, salty, bitter, and sour that we need to work on. I'm Chef Carrie Leonard. Join us next time for Culinary Classroom.